It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Once again, great to have you in the studio today. We're going to be talking about the Rockin River Ranch State Park in Camp Verde, in Arizona State Park. Northern Regional Manager Keith Ayotte is in studio. Welcome back. Yeah, good to have you. Website azstateparks.com is where they can go for more information about the Rockin River Ranch
and
State Park.
All of our state parks, yes.
Yeah, and all of the state parks. Yeah, I went to the website this morning, and it's got information about all of them. So let's get right into it. A few weeks back, actually I want to say probably maybe more than that, even a month or more ago, I got a press release. It's right here. It's Rockin River Ranch State Park. We've got some open houses coming up.
Correct.
So that's how it kind of started. So let's go back in time a little bit and find out. Tell us a little bit about the Rockin River Ranch State Park, what it is and how it came about.
Okay, so we worked with the Nature Conservancy and bought the property back in 2008. Then we all know what happened after 2008. The recession hit, and we didn't have any funds to put into it to build it up into a proper state park. But recently, our revenues have been really good, and we have a very progressive director who found out about the property and visited it and said, why are we not allowing the public in here? So that's the phase we're in now. We're looking for public comments. We're looking for feedback from people. What do we do with this property? We don't want it to have 150 RV sites. We want to keep the atmosphere that's there, which right now is being used as a horse boarding ranch. So we want to keep that atmosphere there, but we want to be sensitive to the open space too. And at the same time, we want a lot of people to come in there and camp and maybe rent cabins and just enjoy the area in general. So
okay. Now, Keith, with your imagination, feed my imagination. Picture me what Rockin River Ranch State Park is. Where is it, and what's it made up of, and what am I going to be seeing if I come into that land?
All right, so you're in Camp Verde, you're on 260, you're heading up to Payson, and you come across this little road called Salt Mine Road, and you take that road out for about 5 miles. Then you'll see what the Forest Service has a little river access area there called Clear Creek River Access Point. Okay. And maybe not even a quarter mile past that, to your left, you'll see the road. Unfortunately, right now there's a sign there that says public is not allowed in there just because it's not a state park for the public at this moment. But once you drive in there, I don't know, it's a cross between what everybody pictures a Southwest to be and a John Wayne movie. I mean, you walk in, it's a dirt road, you're following a fence line, you've got horses in this nice green pasture, just following around, and then there's this really nice ranch out in the middle of the property. And then you look back and you got Squaw Peak in the background, just setting the whole thing off. And it's surreal because, you come off the interstate, you're 260, busy road, then you come to this area and it's just so peaceful and so quiet, and you hear the horses in the background, you hear birds chirping in the background. So that's why we feel it's just so important that we start letting the people in there and the public in there to see that and experience that.
Sounds like a place to go decompress.
Very much so.
Yeah, that sounds like it to me. So how did you said the state bought the land in 2008?
Correct.
So but it's still a ranch. It's still a working ranch.
It's still a working ranch. We purchased it. Actually, the Nature Conservancy purchased it. We purchased it from the Nature Conservancy. But before that, it was just a land holding group that was holding on to it. And at the same time, there was a operating horse boarding ranch. When we purchased the land, we just let that operation continue, and it's been continuing now for quite a few years. So yeah, and our hope is once we do develop that park is to allow that horse boarding operation to continue, so we can keep that whole ranch horse atmosphere going.
Can you talk a little bit about what it takes to become an Arizona State Park? I mean, it's got to be quite a few hurdles to go through to just even take a piece of land anywhere.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. The last build out we did in this region here, which is the northern region, was Dead Horse Ranch State Park, and that was in 2005.
Okay.
And a lot of that was already laid out. It was I believe it was a project with Ayotte. So they kind of came in and they laid out the roads, they laid out the RV campsites. There just wasn't water or power laid in yet, and it sat that way for a really long time. And in 2005, we found some money and basically finished that project, phase 2 of that project, if you will, added restrooms, the whole 9 yards. Then after that project was complete, we didn't have a whole lot of build out going on agency-wide. But you're right, it is a process. And one of the important aspects of the process for us is to get that public input. You know, these are public lands. The public owns these properties. We just manage it for them, you know. At the same time, as we were talking earlier, we do not receive any money from the legislators. So we live off our revenue. So we have to build something that we can sustain and build a little revenue on so we can continue our development process.
Well, yeah, to maintain, I mean, how big is Rockin River Ranch?
209 acres.
That's a big chunk of land.
Yeah.
You know, some people may not think 209 acres is big, but I have a hard time even picturing 209
Right.
acres. So to keep the upkeep on that, well, the ranch, you said the ranch is going to continue to operate, or this horse boarding area.
Correct.
Will continue to operate,
we'd like
so.
to see something operate in some sort of fashion. Just we want to keep horses there. Yeah. The only downside of the ranch is a lot of it's in a floodway, so there's actually kind of restricted areas where we can build. And even if you want to build in a floodplain or floodway, you have to build in a certain way. So these are all things we're digesting right now and trying to figure out. Yeah.
How old is the property as the ranch?
Oh, good question. I mean, I think this goes back to the 40s and 50s.
Okay, so then what I'm wondering now, I'm picturing in my head, are there some like historic structures on there? Is the ranch house historic?
Not
sheds,
really.
barns,
There's some
fencing?
really neat barns, and there's just one in particular. It's just something you see in a postcard. It's this big red barn that's a little dilapidated, yet is still used.
Yeah.
And it's part of the scenery, and I'm sure it'll get photographed a million times. And there is a ranch house there, but it's relatively new. I believe it was built in the 70s. In our timeline, that's new.
Yeah, is there any? I know. Yeah, it's definitely not from the early 1900s. But are there any like old ancient historic like foundations laying around there?
Not really.
No.
That's I mean, the property's exchanged hands several times.
Yeah.
It's been developed as a ranch for agriculture, that stuff. So it's been turned over.
Some of that
few
stuff
times.
gets lost then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you were mentioning prior to the show too that the nice thing to hear, and back during when the recession was hit, you aren't getting any funding. State parks does not. They have to take care of themselves.
Correct.
You guys, what money you raise goes into the state parks. It's going up though. It's improving. So all those staycation shows I did back in the recession, they're paying off.
Yeah, some of the surveys that we see, I think it's upwards of 60 to 70% of the folks that visit state parks are from Arizona. So it's great that people are visiting the state parks, and we want to create those state parks that. If you live in Phoenix, we want you to come up to Slide Rock. We want you to come to Rockin River Ranch. We want you to rent a cabin, because really, you go from Phoenix to Rockin River Ranch, and you could be going to a different country. I mean, that's how drastic the change is when you drive into that park.
That's the nice thing about the state, though. If you want to be in the desert, just head south.
That's what I tell all
my friends. You want to be in the high desert, come to the middle of the state. You want to go up in the mountains, just head north.
Yeah, they feel sorry that I'm experiencing 110-degree weather, and I'm like, it really isn't that bad. And in 30 minutes, I'm in the Pines, and I'm in the 85, 90-degree weather, and it's actually quite comfortable. So,
yeah, that's the nice thing about here. Let's take our first break, okay?
Sure.
We're talking Rockin River Ranch State Park in Camp Verde. It's, I guess, under development, so to speak. But Manager Keith Ayotte is in studio today. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
So you're looking online now? Yeah, great condition. I hate to see her go, but I really just need the cash. Well, the price is still just $1,000, but you have to send the money now, right now. Well, that's why the price is so low. Like I said, I need cash fast. I can't wait on a check or money order. You have to send cash now.
The moment they ask for immediate cash is the moment you know something's wrong. Think before you send money. Learn more at scamawareness.org.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're sitting down with Keith Ayotte, Northern Regional Manager of the state parks. How many parks do you overlook? There's quite a few up here.
There's 5 right here in the Verde Valley. Hopefully 6 real soon. There's 11 there's 9 actually that are open. That are state parks.
Does that seem like a lot?
Yes. As a manager, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Red Rock State Park.
Yeah, you've got Jerome. I like to go downstream. So you got Jerome, you got Dead Horse, you've got Red Rock State Park, which tends to be forgotten about, but is a really neat area. You got Slide Rock State Park, which is probably one of the more popular ones. Then you got Fort Verde. Then we have Reardon up in Flagstaff, which is a partner park, but we're still involved with the management and helping them do the upkeep and that sort of stuff. And then if you want to head up towards Payson, up in Tonto, we've got the Tonto Natural Bridge. And then my region continues off into Sholo. You got Full Hollow Recreation Area.
Wow, so when they say Northern Regional?
Northeast region, yeah.
The top half of the state, is that what it means?
Pretty much.
Pretty much the top half of the state.
And I actually go all the way up to the border with Lyman Lake State Park, too.
Oh, wow.
And of course, you got Homology out there by Winslow. So.
Oh, very cool. That's got to be interesting, though.
It is.
The job's got to be different every day.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something going on. And right now, like I said, because of our director is so progressive with development and just getting a lot of fixed things, another thing that we're doing is we're attacking our backlog of maintenance issues. So we actually hired a gentleman who, that's all he's doing is construction type projects. So we've got a lot of that going on, plus we've got new parks coming online. So there's a lot of activity right now.
That's awesome. That's good to hear, though, because a few years back it was kind of humdrum.
It's been stagnant for a long
time. It wasn't really good news about state
Right.
parks. It really wasn't. So let me ask you this. What does it take to make a state park, to get something like that going?
Yeah, so, you have the piece of property. What we did in this case, we hired a consultant, Logan Simpson, to come in, do a master plan for us, kind of look at the property, do some surveys for us, put together some cost estimates, look at the roadways, and say, okay, this is what you can, and we give them a budget too. That's the big part. And right now we have about a $4 million budget to develop this park, which will not get us everything, but it'll at least get us started. So they look at all these parameters, and then they talk to like myself and the prospective park manager who'll be working there. They talk to the horse boarding folks. They hold these public meetings. They try to gather as much information as they can, and then they come to us with a proposal saying this is what we think you can do over there.
Okay, so they're at these open houses then.
They're pretty much leading the open houses.
Okay, they're leading the open because they're taking the feedback in.
Correct.
And then they're going to put that together for you guys. So how has the attendance been at the open houses? This is in Camp Verde, so I'm going to imagine this is a very the Verde Valley and Yavapai County in general. When there's something going on, the public really does get involved.
Very much.
Very
so.
rarely do you see it not happen.
Yeah.
So there's got to be great attendance out there.
Yeah, even when I was working at Dead Horse, I remember reading the Bugle and just seeing how active the community out there is there, and they've been showing up. I think the first time we had over 100 folks show up. This last one, I believe, was around between 60 or 80 people showed up, and just very actively telling us what they'd like to see happening over there. So.
Did people seem surprised that there was a state park in Camp Verde? It's like, or did they kind of know that Rockin River
maybe
Ranch?
Some folks forgot
that
was there.
I know I did.
Yeah, we sat on it for so long. I mean, it's been over 10 years now, or going on 10 years. So, and of course, we have a lot of neighbors who are kind of concerned. What's this going to do to my property? All these RVs and all these folks coming in. What's going to happen to me? So we're listening to them. We really are. Our directors actually met with the neighbors that live right around the property, and is really trying to accommodate them as much as possible. So
good neighbors.
Yeah, we're trying to maintain good neighbors, and we're trying to be good neighbors too.
So what are some of the things that folks are saying they'd like to see at the park?
Everything. And of course we can't do everything, but mostly the horse theme. They really like that horse theme, and they like to see horseback riding. They like to see river access. They like to see some controlled canoe or boating access. One of the things they're concerned about is ATVs, and we don't have too many state parks where we just allow ATVs to just willy-nilly drive through our park. So we may not even have ATVs in our park because there's really not a whole lot of areas that they can use. Having said that, the Forest Service is also looking at developing that property out there. That's the Prescott Forest. We border the Prescott Forest. And we're looking at partnering with them to maybe have some trails go off the park into their property too. So
is the Verde River nearby?
Verde River's is our property. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, that why would you not want to build a ranch next to a water source?
Correct.
So, okay, so the river's right by there too.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be great fishing, bird watching, just about everything that traditionally goes with a state park.
So it sounds to me like this state park is very much an outdoor. Well, I guess Dead Horse Ranch State Park is the same way. It's all about being outdoors. There's the fishing, the hiking, the camping, and it's like a great big giant, quiet, peaceful campground. Yeah,
with Dead Horse, you've got the river running right next to it. You've got your fishing ponds. The ponds tend to be more of the focus, and then there's a great trail loop that goes off to the Forest Service that comes off the park. With Rockin River Ranch, probably going to be more the river the focus, with nature watching, bird watching, that sort of thing. But yeah, you're right. That's one thing we want people to do. You come, decompress, go out, have fun with your family, walk the trails, and just relax, have a good time. So,
we mentioned at the beginning of the show, this is a huge endeavor, a huge endeavor. How long before the gates open and you're standing there saying, come on in, check it out?
Probably end of summer, fall of next year, FY18. And you're right about the endeavor, and you're right about the fact that we make our own money, so we're really watching where we put our dollar. So we want the dollar to be as effective as possible, So
what are some of the ideas so far?
Right now, we're looking at putting some cabins out there. One of the rumors out there was that we're going to have like 60, 70, 80, 100 RV sites. That's not our plan at all. Maybe have a dozen, maybe a couple dozen RV sites, if that. Maybe have half a dozen to a dozen cabins. We're still tweaking the numbers. We're just looking at what we can do with the property. We're listening to the public feedback. And at the end of the day, though, we have to balance our checkbook too. So we've got to see what's going to generate the most bang for the buck.
Right, because then you got to maintain all that property.
We have to maintain it. You're going to have staff working that property. At least 1, 2, maybe 3 full-time staff with maybe some seasonal support. Okay. And one of the comments we've gotten back to is people are concerned about the increased amount of trash. You go through any of our state parks, they're impeccable. The staff are always picking up trash. The hosts are driving around their little golf carts with their trash picker uppers.
You're talking about the road on the way in.
Perhaps.
People I don't know how it happens, but it still winds up going out the windows and all over the roads.
And if that becomes an issue, we're definitely going to address it. So,
Okay. All right. Let's take our second break. There's another open house coming up on August 16th from 5:30 to 6:15 at Camp Verde Middle School. So you're going to want to watch for that. Again, that's August 16th, 5:30 to 6:15 at Camp Verde Middle School. We're talking about the Rockin River Ranch State Park, the development of it out in Camp Verde. Stick around, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Trizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. This is Sue from Disaster Relief. We're calling neighbors statewide to get help for storm victims. Children, lost parents, homes. You can. Oh, thank you. But could you send the money now? The need is urgent. We so appreciate you. It means so much, but it has to be now. It has to be cash. No credit cards, checks, just cash.
The moment they ask for immediate cash is the moment you know something's wrong. Think before you send money. Learn more at scamawareness.org.
Schools have a big problem. Every year, millions of kids come to class with nothing. So teachers end up spending thousands of dollars of their own money just to make sure kids have what they need to learn. I'm the school supply fairy. My assistant and I do what we can. But we could really use your help.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. We're going to talk more about the public meeting coming up. Again, it's going to be on August 16th. I misspoke last break. It's 5:30 to 6:15, and that's sort of a viewing time, and at 6:15 a presentation will start. So it'll run till probably about 8 p.m., but it's on August 16th at Camp Verde Middle School. So that's the meeting. So tell me, if I come to this meeting, this open house, I walk in, what's going to be taking place that night?
Well, we're always looking for public input. So when you walk in there, they're going to ask you to sign in, get your address, get your email, ask you if you want to be on the email list so you're kept apprised of everything that's going on with the development of the project. And also you're going to see some boards put up that are going to show what conceptually we're thinking about putting out there. And again, a lot of these boards are built with public input in mind. And also we like to post up what we've done in the past too, is just list out some of the concerns that we've received so the public can see, we've heard you, we've written them down, and you can write on there if you want to add to it. There's also pieces of paper all over the place on these tables, and there's more boards out there that are similar to the ones you're going to see there standing up on easels. And you're encouraged to take Post-it notes and write notes on it and leave them there so we can collect them after the meeting. With this meeting too, the last word I got from our director is, again, we're going to kind of open it up to an open house type thing where people are going to be allowed to public speak and raise their concerns right there in front of us. So.
Okay. Now, when I come in there and I see this, and who's the company that's putting this together?
Logan Simpson.
Logan Simpson. And you've had a few of these now going on over the last, how long now?
Over the summer.
Over the summer?
Yeah,
okay.
We had one in June, July, and we're going to have our last one in August. So this is an important one.
From the first meeting, did they have those boards up as
Correct.
well?
Yeah,
okay, now has that board changed since that first meeting to a different version?
We talked about what we're going to do there. The first meeting was just this picture collage of different types of activities going on outdoors. It wasn't related to the park. It's just like
general concept.
General concept.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
There was nothing specific at all. It was just something for the public to chew on. Then it got a little more drilled down in the second meeting, kind of like, okay, this is kind of like we're thinking. We gave 3 different proposals. And then this next meeting, again, there'll probably be 3 proposals, but again, narrowed down, drilled down a little bit more.
And this is based on the public comments. So we've got
Correct.
this first one where there really was no public comment going on. It was just, this is just kind of an idea. What do you think?
Exactly.
And then they come back with this second version. So you could almost lay these over the top of each other and peel them away and see the changes
Right.
based on the comments and the ideas that have come up.
Like we have some neighbors that have livestock. They're concerned about the public maybe crossing over their fence line. So we've moved some of the campgrounds around. We've increased the vegetation to a type of vegetation that people will not want to cross through. So we're listening to that neighbor, you know, and we don't, like I said, we're trying to be good neighbors. So, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's really good. That's really good. So, okay, so we want to encourage people again to do this. Now, is there a way they can comment without being at the open house?
You go to our website, Rock River Ranch, get to that location. That site's always going to be up. It's going to show the development going on. There's links to contacts for folks. Our public information officers. I mean, there's plenty of email links there you can send information to.
Okay, so that's azstateparks.com. That's
right.
the website, azstateparks.com.
And work your way to Rockin' River Ranch and comment away.
Nice picture of the horses and stuff on there. I really like that one. Okay, so anything else you could think of? August 16th. 5:30 the doors open for this. It's going to be at Camp Verde Middle School. At 6:15 there'll be a presentation, and then like we were just talking, those boards will be up there showing how things have whittled down. And then we're hoping to have it open by, well, a year from September, October, somewhere in there.
What are we in July? So we should be deep in construction, winding up construction next year at this time, and hopefully have the park open by fall next year. So.
Keith, it's already August. Kids are going back to
I
school
know, that's why
already.
I had to think about it.
Isn't it crazy? It's just crazy. Keith, Ayotte, thank you
nice
so
to
much
meet
for
you.
coming in. I appreciate that. So if you need something, let us know, and
Okay.
we'll get the word out, and we'll keep talking about these meetings. So again, azstateparks.com, Rockin River Ranch State Park in Camp Verde. That's today's Countywide. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.